What's up, everybody?
Hello.
You get hit with that every time, that loud theme song. You never remember it's coming.
That is why I hate you.
We're back after another week hiatus because, again, we were just kind of like tired.
Let's say tired.
We've had enough of life.
We were fucking, guys. We were fucking. No.
I thought we weren't going to reveal this. Fuck. This is going to cause so much trouble in my life. It's true. It's true. We were fucking. Fucking tired. We don't really have a good excuse this time.
But last week just didn't happen.
Last week was a busy week. My daughter had 2 recitals in one day on Saturday, and it was a busy week. There's a lot of getting ready to do. She had rehearsals and stuff. It just wasn't a good week for extracurricular activities.
Absolutely, get it.
We were just talking about how if you made movies like Team America: World Police and Tropic Thunder today, everybody related would lose their jobs.
There would be some kind of wave to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not even one that that believes the myth of cancel culture, because I know cancel culture exists. There's a lot of people like, it's not cancel culture, it's just dealing with the consequences of your actions. And first of all, nobody likes to deal with the consequences of their actions, so we can leave that one alone.
Yeah, that's true.
The myth of cancel culture is something like comedians talk about a lot. They talk about cancel culture as if it's like a living being. It's
they do.
You best not make that kind of joke. Oh, the cancel culture will get you.
That's true.
That bullshit. I don't believe in that either. But I do believe there are people who like to galvanize and cause cancel culture to be a thing. Like, it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy where that will be the thing. Like, comedians get railed against, and that's it. Because you're in a social setting where everybody can have an opinion. But don't do your comedy online. Just do stand-up. I know you feel like you have to have an online presence and all that shit. And maybe you do. But that doesn't mean you got canceled.
Yeah, that's why they keep people from bringing phones in and shit now. It's not just to prevent the material from leaking. It's they don't want the shit they say on stage getting broadcast on the internet. And I'm sure when they go to do specials, they self-censor themselves to a certain degree, to not make it completely politically correct, but correct it a little bit, or bludgeon it down a little bit so it's not quite as vulgar. We talked about the Tom Brady roast and how everybody was like, oh, cancel culture's over, we've won the war. It's like, come on, man, just one special. Yeah, sure, they said some shit that was I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw a fragment of it.
How's that going?
I probably watched 45 minutes of it.
When I look at Rob Schneider and all the shit that he's saying, him and Jim Brewer and all of them about cancel culture, even Dave Chappelle, I'm just like, well, first of all, Jim, you never really fully had a career outside of SNL. Let's just be real. Even really Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider was like a gag comic. He had the same shtick. They changed the movie, but if you put Rob Schneider in it, he's just that.
He's just him, he did have a string of movies, but weren't they all Adam Sandler financed basically anyway?
Exactly. They were being pushed. They were just pushing Rob Schneider. Hey, Rob Schneider today is a gigolo. Rob Schneider today is a girl. Rob Schneider today is... No, he's just Rob Schneider. That's
He's
it.
Just Rob Schneider, yeah.
That's it.
I don't remember anything. I think I've probably seen the majority of those movies that he was in too. And the only thing I remember is the one where the Deuce Bigelow, where he dated the tall woman, and there's the guy in the background. I was like, that's a huge bitch. That's the only thing I remember from any of those movies.
And he was no more. It's basically just watching his cameo extended.
Yeah.
In these movies.
Agreed.
His cameos in Adam Sandler films.
I mean,
and Dave Chappelle, famous, yes, but again, he's gotten that weird brain rot going on now because he spent too much time fighting with people with brain rot on the internet.
Yeah, yes, he did.
He's been so.
Bill Maher's made it the crux of his career now. I mean,
fuck him. Yeah.
So
he was the victim of some shit.
I watch his show every week because he does have political commentators on there from both sides of the aisle. They almost always hate Trump. He did have Kellyanne Conway a couple weeks ago, but I always watch his show, and I'm actually reading his new book, which is literally just the little epilogues he puts at the end of each episode, just combined into one book. Mm-hmm. And they're funny, they're good, but his whole shtick now, he used to be, the lefty guy that railed against Republicans. His whole shtick now is a lot of it is just railing on woke culture. That's what he talks about most of the time on his show now. He talks about cancel culture and wokeness. Yeah, he's completely obsessed with it. And he's, he talks about, people keep telling me I've changed, and I haven't changed. The left has changed. It's like, well, you've changed a little bit too, man. You've you're kind of stuck on this new topic.
No, I feel like he hasn't changed. I feel like he's obsessed with like woke culture, whatnot. But he's always been like the anti-politically correct, which is what woke is in his perspective. Is just
that's true. His correct. Original show was politically incorrect.
He's always been up his own. He's always been up his own ass.
Right.
And the problem is, yes, the thing is, we have changed. Like the politics have changed. But the thing is, he's getting so much pushback now because those people are the ones that used to lift him up, and now they're like, well, this guy's an asshole. It's like, yeah, he was an asshole when you guys thought he was funny.
Yes.
He was never funny. His fucking documentary, that first documentary he made was garbage.
Which one? Religulous?
Like, oh man, I can't remember. Religulous. It was anti-religion.
Right, yeah.
But he was like so disingenuous throughout the entire fucking thing.
I mean, he's disingenuous in
general. Like, no, he was garbage. Yeah, he was garbage then. It's just so you liked him. The same thing with Trump being president. Like, the dude was garbage prior to that. We knew this. True. But all of a sudden, now you're shocked? Kiss my ass. Like, seriously?
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. You make a good point. I acquiesce. That's not right. I acquiesce. I acquiesce to you on that.
Yeah, I love words like that.
Acquiesce is one of my favorite words, but you're right. You're correct. He really hasn't changed. You're right. The audience has changed and decided you're an asshole now. So it is what it is.
I am so tired of the masses. Like, I struggle so hard to think that everyone's not an idiot because I don't want to believe everyone's an idiot. But there's just like this
that's
dark part of me that just like, that's just like, no, everyone's a fucking idiot. That includes me.
I think that on a regular basis, and I believe it's true. I don't want to believe that it's not true. I just think it's true. And you're right, that includes me too. I think everyone to some degree is an idiot. And I don't know why or how that happened. I don't think it was always true. I mean, I guess the internet and things like that, or social media, elements.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, I was about to say, I was talking to my sister about it, and the one thing that we kind of came up with was just that everything just keeps fucking going, and we just do not have the mental capacity.
You can't catch up.
Like, our dumb monkey brains are just not capable of catching up. So we just jump from thing to thing.
There's a lot to that.
No consistency whatsoever.
There is a lot to that.
We yearn for that consistency.
I mean, I think about that when I'm in the car. I'm just like, our bodies were not meant to travel at this speed, and yet here we are traveling at this speed. And it's just like, people get jet lag when they're in an airplane because we're not meant to travel at that speed and cover that amount of distance. And we end up fucked up from something as simple as flying in a plane across the country because our bodies are like, whoa, not supposed to be able to do that. So you have to assume that the advancements in technology and information that come about so quickly and so rapidly, our brains are just not made to function that way, and to be able to play catch up, and we're just not. We have our shitty little bullshit brains. They're not computers.
Again, we are so dumb, and Matt's heard me kind of bitch because 2 weeks ago, I was like, this has just been in my head for the longest time, was that I had an argument online with somebody because of over a fucking I'm about to get rid of my Instagram.
It's worth rehashing.
Instagram video about should a barista be able to receive a livable wage and live comfortably and happily?
Right.
Now, that's the whole point. They should be people with any kind of service job, any job that you're doing for somebody,
Any human
especially
being.
with businesses, corporations, should be able to be paid a livable wage to be able to go to the doctor if they need to, and have food and whatever. And I was even
live
like pushing the
comfortably.
fact that you're required to have a car, which you have to have a lot of money to fucking do. You have to have a phone, which I won't necessarily say is a lot of money.
I brought those things up, and you were just like,
you
no,
need-
not even those.
Yeah.
Not even that far. Just
Yeah, I'm not even going that far. But the fact that you need those things to have even the most like minuscule job, it should be able to take care of you having those things.
sure.
But everybody who just didn't feel comfortable about it and got angry about it was, oh, do you think they should get paid as much as a doctor? It's like, how are you so stupid that you are incapable of understanding what livable wage is and what a doctor gets paid because of the amount of responsibility and knowledge they need to have? That
Right.
still letting people have have a livable wage does not necessarily affect everyone else. It just allows everyone to function.
Well, that just boils
It's just
down
it
to
breaks the class system just a little bit. Just
right. I was
a
just going to say
crack
that
in the armor.
that literally just boils down to having a class system at that point, where you're like, well, the doctor's got a lot of responsibility and a lot of knowledge, so they should get paid more money, and the person that doesn't have that should get paid shit. Like that, you're
Yeah,
it's just
because I can imagine how many doctors. I'm sorry, go on.
No, it's just we talked about how it seems unfathomable that the average human being can at least have a level of empathy to the point where they could say, yes, every single person in the in our country and in the world, whatever, should have a living wage and should be able to have food, have shelter, all the basic necessities, all the things you need to live comfortably, have access to medical care, all those good things. And the fact that some people's brains just can't wrap around that and just go, but he know more, so he get more, and he know not nothing. So, like, the amount of knowledge and skill you have should not equate to the amount of money you make, period. Like, it just doesn't make, like, you could have a very low skill job and have no, education to speak of other than not even high school. Let's say you have no education to speak of, really.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean that should directly equate to what you make, at your job, regardless of what your job is. It just doesn't make any sense.
When I was talking to this person, I was like, so you're telling me that this person has no worth, or their worth is extremely low because they're a barista.
Right.
That's what you're saying. Just say the thing. Just fucking say it. It's like, well, I'm not going that far. It's like, yes, you are.
Well,
because you're telling me that they're
what
not
you're saying.
they should not be able to be capable of taking care of themselves as a barista. Well, no, because that's for like college students. Oh, you mean people who have to go to school, do their essays, attend all their classes, work in order to eat and take care of themselves? Because I'm sorry, not a lot of college students, the average college student, doesn't make enough money in tuition or whatever, like overpay or anything like that, to be able to afford stuff throughout the entire time that they're in college, accrue all that debt, and then have to pay it off. They still don't deserve to get paid enough to take care of themselves. What if they get sick during college? What they're not being covered.
Wow,
So what the fuck are you going on about?
Now we've got
Children should be in school.
and we've got universal health care in the discussion as well. But yeah,
well, that's the thing. It all divulged into those things.
right.
It just tumbled down into that because it's again back to the point with Bill Maher, is that these people are just essentially doing the political correctness thing, but by not saying it at all.
Right. Yeah.
They're saying, well, I don't want to be the bad guy, but motherfucker, you are the bad guy.
Well, they act like it's a zero-sum thing.
At least
where
own it.
There's like, there's not enough to go around. And this person has to get all, the big piece of the pie because they've earned it. And unfortunately, there's nothing left for you. Sorry.
But even then, I'm just like, this ultimately benefits you. Unless you're the rich person on top,
I was just
you're
going to say,
arguing with me. But if we're both baseline, that just benefits you, and you're just going to cut your nose off to spite your face.
Well, you said, you had the discussion about like, well, do you want your coffee? Do you want to be able to get coffee? There are people that want to be able to walk into a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks and get a coffee, and it's not necessarily a high skill job, but there's skill to it. There's requirements. There's learning involved to be able to do it properly. And if that person doesn't know how to do their job properly, that guy's probably the first one at the window bitching that it's taken 5 minutes to make his latte.
It's like, well, and then the next level they'll go is, well, I mean, we don't need that job, so we could just get rid of it. I'm like, okay, there's a reason why that job exists.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks don't make billions of dollars for no reason.
Yeah, let's just get rid of the job, because the initial argument by this specific person, because fuck this person specifically, was, well, why would they pay all that and it'll just tank the business? And paying their employees tanks the business. That's one. That was the first brain rot thought. But then it was like, then they said, well, I could just do it at home, so I don't have to. So they don't even need to have it. So you mean to tell me that you're okay with the job just being completely obliterated? You're just saying the job could be completely obliterated, but your original argument was that the job would tank, the business would tank,
right?
Well,
that's moving the goalposts.
Where is your brain at? You dumb monkey. Like, where is your brain?
And also, well, good luck going to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts CEOs and saying, hey, you know what? Your business doesn't need to exist, so just shut it down. Shut it down.
I mean, the CEOs will leave with a big bonus anyway, but...
Yeah, but I mean, like... What are you gonna walk in? Like, hey, you know what? People can make their own coffee at home, so I don't think you guys need to exist, okay? All right? So just close it all down.
None of these people... Exactly. None of these people are going to give up their blowjob fairy. No. None of them.
No, of course. Oh, the old blowjob fairy.
I'm never going to drop that analogy. It's like probably the smartest dumb thing I've ever said.
No, it's one of my favorite. It's one of it's. Why don't we have a blowjob fairy T-shirt? Oh, probably because it would be weird to wear.
Yeah,
nobody would get.
I
the
feel
context.
uncomfortable about wearing some of our shirts, let alone.
You need the context of what that is. You can't just walk around with a shirt that says blowjob fairy. I guess that makes sense. Oh, we could put on the back the explanation. A blowjob fairy is equivalent to
like a dictionary definition.
Just so you know what it means. We're not just assholes walking around with shirts that say we want blowjobs from fairies all the time.
Blowjob fairy, noun.
Noun. That's the only way it would work, I guess.
Like a Webster's dictionary thing. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's the only way it would work. Otherwise, it'd be, it would be a little awkward to walk around with that shirt. I'm pretty sure my wife wouldn't like it.
I'm sure your wife, even with the context, wouldn't like it.
Also true. I'd wear it around Disneyland next time we go. Disney World next time we go. She banned some of my shirts from Disney when we went a couple years ago. She made it very clear I wasn't allowed to wear them. Did I ever tell you about the mouth finger butthole shirt? Oh, of course. You know my mouth finger butthole shirt from Ice Cream Social?
No.
Oh, so Ice Cream Social came up with, instead of rock, paper, scissors, it should be mouth finger butthole. Where mouth bites finger, finger plugs butthole, butthole shits in mouth. That's the game. So I have a shirt I've got a shirt that's got the symbols, and I wore it to Legoland once. And I think I had 3 separate people ask me what it meant. Like, one person thought it was sign language, American Sign Language, and I stopped them and I was like, no, here's what it is. And I explained it, and all 3 of them were just like, why did I ask that question? So she banned that one. I was so happy. Giddy. I was so happy. I couldn't have been happier to have the opportunity to explain what my shirt meant to somebody. Yeah, one like, oh, is that American Sign Language? Actually, butthole shits in mouth. It was fun. Yeah, those were bad. Oh my god,
your wife has a lot to put up with.
I know.
I mean, so does mine, though.
I'm appreciative of it, though.
Oh man, so yeah, I actually wrote a list of topics, but that was for 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you think they're outdated at this point?
Oh, definitely.
Who cares?
I'm never topical.
I know.
I'm
So let's hit him.
always
Let's hit him up anyway. It doesn't matter.
like butt cheeks.
Always behind
So
like
there's
cheeks.
this. Yeah, there's this guy on YouTube called In Praise of Shadows.
Okay.
He's a video essayist. He usually does horror. Ultra pretentious. Usually, like, is an acquired taste. Well, he had this really bad take. I want to say maybe upwards of a year ago, where he said that you've seen the movie The Hills Have Eyes.
Yes. This is the one with the weird.
The hillbilly family, the inbred hillbilly family that's like super strong and eat people. They're cannibals.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
Well, he had this whole. I think it was a video. It was like maybe an hour long, talking about how the inbred mutant hillbillies represent Native Americans, and the family represent the upper class whites being slaughtered and eaten by them because culturally, they've encroached on their land. And I was like, bro, not everything needs to be that deep.
I was gonna say that deep of an explanation.
One, because I doubt you really want to call Native Americans inbred cannibals.
No, usually not a good idea in the modern internet. No.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of these self-hating white guys. If he identifies as a guy, he's that type of person with a really shitty porn mustache. He later on
Sorry, I got a message from my neighbor that there's a black bear heading towards my property, so I'll just make sure not to go outside.
What's she profiling the bear for?
She just warned me not to go outside so I don't get attacked by a bear. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just gonna walk around your neighborhood with a bear costume on. No, I'll probably get killed.
The porno mustache always strikes me as just like, why? Like, what that is.
Yeah. Again, I think that's like a white dude's way of taking it back.
Right.
Just like the mullet. So
this is ours. We're going to keep it.
Yeah. I'm going to own this look. But yeah, because there's this weird, like you know how like everybody hates hipsters?
Who does the Hitler mustache now? Is it Taika Waititi? Who does that? The Hitler
I think
mustache?
Taika Waititi. Well, Taika Waititi played Hitler, I think.
Oh, that's right.
And
didn't somebody try bringing the Hitler mustache back recently?
Michael Jordan used to have a Hitler mustache.
That's right.
I'm surprised Kanye has not had a Hitler mustache.
I know. You would think that would be a thing.
Because he loves Hitler, apparently. But yeah, regardless, maybe because he thinks since his mouth is crooked, it'll be slanted and it wouldn't do him justice. But who knows?
What? I can't do it. Right.
But regardless, so apparently, like, that backfired. That video really backfired because he was wrong. It was his opinion, but if he took it as his opinion, he wouldn't get so upset when people were like, "Dude, you're wrong," and showed and had evidence, obvious evidence. But fast forward into, I think I want to say last week or the week before, there is a commentary guy who does the same thing named Wendigoon. He reviews horror. Technically not reviews, he just overanalyzes it. And he's very wholesome, this religious,
big difference between the two.
Semi-autistic seeming guy. Very unassuming. And apparently, In Praise of Shadows hates Wendigoon and made a video called Bad Conservative Horror. Now, that was showing up on my algorithm multiple times. And I was like, that seems like it's interesting, but...
Don't you hate that?
I'm just not interested.
Don't you hate when they show it to you over and over and you're like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want it. And then you see it for the 17th time and you're like, exactly. Fuck, fine.
But after about like the fourth time, I put it in my watch later and I went about my day. I know it was going to still show it to me, but whatever. Well, it disappeared. And it wasn't on my watch later anymore.
Keep talking. I'm listening.
I was like, holy shit, why isn't on? What happened? Come to find out, this guy had a whole, like, I want to say 40 minute diatribe about how bad Wendigoon and everyone he associates with is. and it's so awkward talking when you aren't on screen.
Sorry. I'm trying to look out the window to see if I see this bear. But
Why are you? The bear's not coming into the house. I'm more important.
You're right. The bear's not. I don't know. I don't know. I have problems. Okay.
I really think you might have ADD.
Well, I did have a bear come into my yard once, and it climbed up on the back of my neighbor's truck and pulled all the garbage out and threw it all over the fucking place.
Oh, I swear you were gonna say he pulled out, like he got on the back of the truck, got in, and just drove off.
When you said pulled out, I went to he was fucking.
Oh,
he was
of
fucking
course,
the truck.
because yep.
Anyway,
I realized.
Continue. Please.
I realized, but no, he goes in his diatribe about how bad Wendigoon is. And this man's takes were fucking garbage. And he used the same kind of level of analysis. He was pretty much just like, well, there's this group called the Boogaloo Boys. And Boogaloo Boys wear Hawaiian shirts. And Wendigoon, what does he wear? Hawaiian shirts. And this Indian guy is transphobic because some art about a really ugly trans person he made. He made a really ugly art as his like thumbnail for a trans person who, by the way, that trans person is a thief and a drug addict. I've mentioned her before. Keffels. It was just Mutahar could never get a break. The other one who's like, this is a picture of Brendan Buckingham, and Brendan Buckingham, which I don't know anything about, is friends with Wendigoon, and he's a racist and a gun-toting maniac. And he puts up a picture of Brendan Buckingham with his dying granddad.
Weird.
Like, fucking weird.
So this wasn't just an attack on his content. This was an attack on his character.
On him as a human being.
Okay, so I initially thought you were going to go to, a flame war about whose videos were better, because that makes sense. At least you're arguing about the quality of your content.
Yeah.
But to just be like, he's maybe taking views from me, so I'm going to shit on him as a human being for no good reason.
Homie gets worse. So after also complaining about how he didn't make money last month, but Wendigoon happens to be a millionaire because everyone likes him. And yes, he does openly just bitch about it.
So it is just he gets more views than me.
Yeah. He then goes on because again, he's begging for money, but while like trying to destroy somebody else's capability to make money.
Right.
That's what he is doing. He then turns around and says, I'm familiar with Appalachia. And Wendigoon's from Appalachia. Appalachia is like is basically like where the stereotypes of but that's how he pronounced it, Appalachia.
Yeah, it's Appalachia. Anyway, go ahead.
See, I pronounce it both ways, but it's tomato kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say maybe it's I was gonna say potato.
Because the Appalachian Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains, I've heard both.
Okay.
Regardless, he goes, if you see a white person there, you could just assume that they're all racist. What? So you're just writing off everybody. If you see a white baby, it's racist.
Well, yeah, it's going that way.
Like, wow, that is. You know what? I realized that is the new level of white privilege. When like a self-hating white dude, it's usually a self-hating white person, but guys I've seen mostly do this. Just write off a whole bunch of like people. Do you know you're doing what racists do, but to white people?
You didn't know that babies are born racist,
or skin color, really.
You didn't familiar with that?
Apparently, yeah. Babies are notoriously
it happens
born
in
racist.
the womb. It's absorbed from the mother in the womb.
A racist baby comes out and finds out their mama's black.
Well, I was gonna say sometimes the genetic material is in the male's participation in that as well comes into the semen.
Well, he had a swastika tattoo on his dick, and it came off while it was inside.
You gotta watch out for that. Yeah. It's almost a surefire way to have a racist baby.
Oh yeah, that vagina was just like a tunnel of hatred and racism on the way out. I mean, I'd be racist too if I got evicted from my home. Wait, that did happen to me. I should just be racist.
They find out she has internal bleeding. It's just swastikas carved inside her womb.
just American History X. Edward Norton comes out.
Why do you
fully
think
formed.
why do you think they come out bald, man?
This is because they're all skinheads. Every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Yeah, that's why.
It's just so bad. Like how. And then this motherfucker still has an apology. His apology was, "I'm sorry I made you all feel that way. Please give me money. I am now being called a F word." Pretty much, like, this is how much this man has, like, he has, like, a college degree, apparently, and can do an essay. I wish I had the ability to write like this, because this motherfucker can write hours-long essay.
ChatGPT, you have
Hold
the
on.
ability.
Okay, on my own merit.
Okay, fine.
Has hours-long ability to write these essays, but has no critical capability of thinking. So this Brandon Buckingham, in response to this man, one, trying to ruin his career by saying that he's aligned with essentially a Nazi racist, and displaying his dead grandfather for the entirety of the internet to see, said this low testosterone piece of shit is trying to slander me. And he goes, "Well, I don't approve of your homophobic response." Well, shut the first of all, who you fuck, if you're gay or not, has no bearing on what you did.
Sure.
What you did
That doesn't make
was
difference.
fucking awful. They do not equate. Two, calling somebody low testosterone is not homophobic, because there are plenty of gay people with high testosterone.
Yeah, no, that I don't really understand how
That
that
is not-
equates. Was he
that's
calling him
not
effeminate?
homophobic.
Was he calling him effeminate?
No,
I
he was
mean,
calling him effeminate.
Okay,
He was
that's
calling
not-
him effeminate,
that's not
but he called
really
him
the
low
same.
testosterone.
that's
that's
not the
not-
same thing anyway. To call him effeminate is not the same thing anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
because there are effeminate gay people and not effeminate gay people. There are effeminate women and non-effeminate women. There are effeminate men and non-effeminate
also
men.
depends on the context. I mean, you could just call him gay, and that's okay too if he's gay.
If he's gay, even if he's not, I think insults are supposed to be insulting.
Yes, yeah.
I know, hot take. I know, but since they're supposed to, insult the person, you would think.
You got to go to the worst one.
Yeah, you would think that maybe the person that's being insulting is not an ist until
Yeah. Oh, come on. Why do
they
you think I
double
call you
down on how terrible they are.
Why do you think I call you the N-word when I'm so mad? I mean, that's,
You know what's really funny? He legitimately just calls me the N-word. He doesn't say the word. He just says the N-word. And it's so weird and kind of offensive, but I don't know how to feel, so I think
dude,
he's making it a me problem.
sometimes when I send you like Instagram reels and stuff, I'm like, if it's got like any sort of racial tones, I'm like, should I send this? Am I racist if I think this is funny?
I'm never going to be sensitive about that stuff.
I know.
Like,
I'm
again,
just kidding.
I bring up race on the show, and I bring up race because it's funny to me. I'm not
Race is
like
hilarious.
Yeah,
We've talked
I'm
about
not. I'm really not self-hating, like, in any kind of way as anything to do with my race. I'm more self-hating because of me.
I just love how arbitrary
suck.
race is. Like, we picked that again.
But
like,
it's arbitrary. Yes,
people have different eye colors, different hair colors. There's all kinds of things that are different about humans, and we were like, "That's the one."
I can see that from a mile away. Your skin is darker. Oh man, the sun really favors you. I must hate you. Oh,
and that is why I hate you.
It's just so weird. Like that's how it breaks down to.
Yes.
And it's really like, if I really feel like race is really just a smokescreen for like cultural differences. Like, just because you do this way and I like doing it that way.
Well,
like,
yeah.
I hold my spoon with the top of my hand and you hold your spoon with the bottom of your hand, and it bothers me.
Who the hell would do that? That's creepy.
I've seen Shale do it.
Really? With a bottom? That's so weird.
I've seen him hold a spoon like this, and I tried it, and it's just, I can't.
Yeah, I feel
He's
like
also,
that's too awkward.
Like, well, one, I hold the spoon like a pencil.
Yeah, me
but
too.
There are some people who just hold it with the top of their hand, too.
Also weird.
I just, like, that's fucking
but
weird.
I'm not going to hate you over it.
But that's weird to me. That's just weird to me. But instead of, like, looking at those weird things going, man, that's really weird, we go, ugh, it must be because they're white. Must be because they're Asian. Like,
yeah.
Must be because they're Indian. Like, we just do that. We just fucking do it. And it was like, no, you're just uncomfortable because they do things in a way that you don't like. And now, unless it's like a big thing where there has to be some kind of dialogue about like women's right to do anything with their fucking bodies.
Sure.
Like then, yeah, let's go. Let's have that conversation.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But because, like, I like how for some reason, like Middle Eastern of any kind, like any brown skinned person is just Muslim. That's that when they said the word Muslim so much that now if you're a brown skinned person, which I mean black people are brown, but we're not going that far.
I know what you mean.
If you're any like Middle Eastern desert person, that is what you are. You are.
I just go
Muslim.
straight to Indian in my head.
But for me, I grew up with Indian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everyone was Indian to me.
That's what it is to me. I don't know if it's because I'm friends with and work with so many Indian folks. Maybe that has something to do with it too. But
okay, like I think mine was my reference as a kid. One of my closest friends in kindergarten was an Indian kid, like from India, and I learned a little bit there, and it was like, oh, and a shame because I think this was I haven't watched Simpsons in years, but Apu was a huge like for me as a kid. He was just like my first frame of reference. Yep. I didn't treat everybody like that they were Apu or anything like that.
No,
but just like having those frame of references, and what these adults are doing is not taking those frames of reference and understand they are just references. They are not the end result.
Reality. Yeah, it's not reality.
Your reaction to them. And so you usually, like at least teenagers, because teenagers are fucking the worst, will see that, and that will be the personality they push on you. So with me being like a short, nerdy black guy, there was only like one, and then every other guy was like sports ball player or buff, scary black guy, and I was neither of those.
I could see.
So it was really
that being
weird to grow up with that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just really weird because it was like I was always called Steve Urkel. I didn't act like Steve Urkel, but that was their only frame of reference to who I was.
Like, well, you don't fit into those bubbles, so you must fit into this weird third bubble that pop culture has created for us.
And I feel like, at least with the modern white guy, which would create somebody like in Praise of Shadows, since white is essentially the default, especially here, we tend to white men in general are just lost with their identities, and they have to marry themselves to these stereotypes.
I don't think it back to when I was a kid,
as opposed to having it opposed on them.
When we were kids, it was just, men were just white men in general were just men, right? They liked sports.
Men. They were just men.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't like sports. I didn't associate with any of that. I liked art and I liked music and I liked those things. So I was just called a faggot. That's all it came down to, That's what it boiled down to.
Because there is a confusing struggle with that. Because everyone else in America has an identity imposed on them in mass. And I'm talking about in mass, not as an individual.
Right.
But in mass. But white guys don't necessarily have that.
No, not so much.
They have it self-imposed by their group because everyone else sees them as the generic and they see themselves as the generic. And so white guy is now, it's like it creates, again, self-hating white people who are just as bad, if not worse, and have the same bad habits as the racists that they fight against, quote unquote. And so I find it insufferable. I find it utterly insufferable. I don't like it when anybody of any race does it, because I've known plenty of black people who's just like, no, I'm just not a monolith. I'm just not a monolith, and that's just, I'm just doing my own thing. It was like, no, you're being a piece of shit. Just because you think I will agree with you, because we are both well-spoken and we don't, get along, and I have white friends. It's not that. I am perfectly fine with being black. I just never grew up in a hood setting.
Right.
So I appreciate all the culture and all the love that comes from there, but I'm just not like that.
Sure.
I have cousins who are from the hood. They are very different than I am, and I fucking love them to death. But I'm just not them, and I'm not gonna belittle their experiences. But at the same time, I understand how difficult it is for some people to think that all black people are not them.
Right. I get it.
Like,
I have similar things going on with me too, and like my cousins. Like I have cousins that are backwoods, redneck hick types. They like their 4-wheelers. They like to hunt.
mhm.
They like Trump. Like I've got that in my family too, where they're just a different type of white dude. So I guess it kind of applies a little bit.
Who was at your family? I think it was a birthday party. Actually, I think it was one of your kids' birthday parties. With the cowboy hat.
That's
Who was
my
that?
uncle. That's my uncle.
That was your
Mike.
uncle.
Yep.
Dude was just me and him talked so much.
He's from Alabama. Yep.
Yeah,
and he's
I could tell he was just a southern,
not what you would expect from an Alabamian, whatever.
There's Alabaman. I think they're called Alabamans. Alabamite.
Alabamian. I don't know. Whatever.
Alabamionian.
Not what you
Which is
expect.
going to make it more and more complicated.
He's married to my, like kind of not hippie, but hippie-ish aunt. Like peace
you have a lot
and
of
love.
hippies in your family.
My mom's very, very peace and love, and yet here I am with a podcast that's called "And That Is Why I Hate You."
I'm starting to think that's. I love the title, but I think that branding is going to kill us.
Yeah, it might.
I'm going to keep it no matter what. I don't give a shit, but still.
Yeah, we don't care.
Like we complain, we don't do anything different than any other boring podcast does, but I have to say that it's just, I think that people are just knee-jerk reaction, like, what the fuck?
They're like, so they're racists, they're Nazis. It's a Nazi podcast. I think that's why we got banned from TikTok.
It's the Tim Pool Kanye hour. Let's do it. It's just
fuck.
You do. I'll study up on Kanye and start acting like him.
Oh,
you can
Jesus.
act like Tim Pool since you already watch him.
I don't watch Tim Pool anymore. I gave Tim Pool up.
I fucking hate him. I hate him so goddamn much.
He's
such a spineless piece of shit.
I hate watched him for so long, and I realized I was wasting hours and time in my day listening to his complete fucking garbage just to be outraged. And I just decided I don't need that outrage in my life. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a Kevin Smith clip on like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Shorts today where he said after he had his heart attack, he basically the thread line was, he said, I used to, before my heart attack, I would have come on here and I would have just talked about how much I hate certain movies. I would have just been like, that movie fucking sucks. And I don't do that anymore. I'm not spending my time on hating shit and complaining about shit. I'm just going to come on here and talk about the movies I love. And I went, but our whole podcast is based on talking about things we don't like.
That for me, that's like a value thing. Because Kevin Smith, for me, like, I like Kevin Smith, but he is definitely not the end all be all for a lot of shit. Because this motherfucker, like, he says like just some of the dumbest shit.
He also started making some really shitty movies after that.
Yeah, it's just like, I was like, no. The thing is, remember, another person who had a severe heart attack was George Carlin. He used to be like, oh, hippy dippy love, man. And then had a heart attack and became the grouch, the mean fuck grouch that we all
everybody
love.
loves. Yeah, everybody loves. Everybody thinks it's fantastic.
So it's a matter of value and perspective. You can use hate does not necessarily mean is a bad thing, because again, I've said it galvanizes you to do something.
Sure.
No, and for us, it's recreational. It's venting out frustrations.
It's 100%.
If we're wrong, we're wrong.
Our tagline, man. Recreational complaining. That's our tagline, right?
So,
all right, let's get into our
the
topic.
value of Kevin Smith, valuing that is.
Yeah, we gotta get into our topic so we have enough time.
It's time to begin the complaining.
This week we're going to talk briefly about the criminal justice system because we figured it was topical since Mr. Former President Donald J. Trump got convicted of 34 counts of felony, I don't know, bookkeeping fuckery or some shit like that.
Woo! Yeah, streamers.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts on this. Like, I've watched a lot of clips from a lot of different shows. And, there's all the shows that are like, this is a political hit job. This is, bullshittery. And then there's the other shows that are like, well, he did commit crimes. And I guess my problem with it that drives me the most crazy is it's like both could be right. Like, it could be a political hit job, but he also did commit crimes.
Are right.
How about how about we just go ahead and go after people that commit crimes, and just that's the way it should be, no matter who they are. Like, this is going to start a trend. Good, it should start a trend. It doesn't matter who you are.
Accountability is a great trend to have.
Yes, it doesn't matter if you're an ex-president or whomever. If you commit crimes, you're held accountable for them. Like, who cares? That should be the way it should be. Like, why are we?
I mean, it's that way with me. It's that way with you.
Absolutely. But this is a slippery slope, because next thing, they're going to be going after Joe Biden. Well, if Joe Biden did something to go after, then go after him. I don't fucking care.
Yes,
that's fine.
They spent so fucking long going after Hunter Biden.
Whose trial just started?
What? We know he's a drug addict. We know he's done a lot of shit. We know nepotism played a huge role in why he has anything going good for him.
Oh, huge role. Nepo, he's the king of the Nepo babies in our country right now. I mean, come on. Everything he has going for him is because of his nepotism.
The good one died. The good Biden died.
So terrible.
And I don't even know if he was good, but he was good between the two sons.
I mean, he was good military, one died, right?
And Hunter was still a fuck up. Technically, Hunter was military too.
Was he? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Not really, but because he couldn't pass the drug test.
Oh, that's always so unfortunate.
Like Biden was talking about how Hunter was getting his life together and getting into the military, and he fucking
he pissed positive.
Hot. and they was like, let's just sweep that.
They got a gun charge against him. I don't know anything about it other than the jury selection just started and that case is starting to. Fine. Okay, if he did something he shouldn't have done, then go ahead. Go ahead.
Don't give a I do not give a single shit. Like, let them all go to jail. I agree completely.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid to watch them bicker back and forth as if both things aren't true. It just doesn't make any sense.
And the thing is, they've been arguing this point for so fucking long. Like, I saw a meme on this, I want to say upwards of three years ago, with somebody going, well, they need to when they were getting ready to investigate Trump. It was like, well, if they investigate Trump, they need to investigate Biden. And somebody was just like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
What? Yes.
Yeah. Wait, what? Did you say yes? No, I was talking about Biden.
You think that
I was talking about Biden.
Yes, investigate them all.
Fucking ridiculous.
Isn't that literally what drain the swamp means? Or do I think he literally was draining a swamp?
No,
because that's actually bad for nature if you're draining a swamp.
I think when he realized he failed to metaphorically drain the swamp, he probably should have just gone to Florida and drained part of the Everglades out.
Drained it.
Yeah. He did it. See? I told you. He was on, Trump was on, I don't know, some Fox show or something the other day, saying that he never said to lock Hillary Clinton up. It's like, what? You totally said that like a dozen times at least.
He didn't even say it. He chanted it.
He said it to her face. He was like, you should be in prison. During one of the debates, he's like, you should, I forget exactly what he said, but something along the lines of, you should be in prison.
Trump is so old now and so frazzled looking that I'm now starting to finally believe when he says he didn't say something, he believes it.
Oh, I've always kind of thought he's one of those people that believes the things he says, even when it's not true. He lives in his own, he's like my son. He lives in his own reality where things are the way that, except, one is a 6-year-old and one is a 78-year-old or something like that.
Yeah, it's something. Oh, I actually looked it up today because apparently they're trying to pass a law to say, maybe pass a law that you can't be 81. Like you can't be elected president if you're 81 or something like that.
Wait, what?
And I looked up. Yeah, I just heard about it, so I haven't done much research.
Amazing.
I had shit to do today.
I love it.
But I was just like, Biden is 81 now because I had to look it up.
We have all these problems to solve.
That's what we want.
That's what we're working on. That's what we're focused on.
It's like, how about we just don't elect old people? Let's just not do that.
Same thing with the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court got skewed super conservative, they were just like, well, why don't we talk about adding more people? We'll just add 5 more people. That's all. That's how we'll get around this. Unbelievable.
But with the legal system, it just, it's so frustrating because it's an already established system, so we all know we don't know how it works, but we're all used to what it is.
Well, we know how it works through the lens of Law and Order. That's
Yeah.
we have
The
these
lens of the TV show.
rose-colored glasses that tell us the criminal justice system works well because we watch Law and Order episodes, and 98% of the time the bad guy goes to jail. There's that like 2% of the time that they get off, and we're like, oh, I can't believe they got him off. Oh my god!
And then, like at the end, right before the credits, they get shot, or you find out
they walk
something happened to them
outside
later
and like
on.
the fucking the brother of the victim shoots them on and they're like,
Yeah.
well,
But fuck that person. We don't want to know what happens to them. They'll get a happy ending.
no, we
I'm
just
sure.
justice was served, so we are left pleased as an audience at the end of the episode.
Like everything's performative, but it's just it's really frustrating. Like when I have to hear stories, like real stories about like negligent police, or the Philadelphia was really bad with this.
Ugh.
With like the entire system like bearing down on people trying to seek any level of justice.
Yeah.
I
I had to.
So go on.
I had to. Like literally 2 days ago, we were on the way home in the car. And my daughter asks me. She says, I saw a little girl at school today, and she had on a shirt that said Black Lives Matter. And I thought, well, that's kind of racist because that's not fair. Because, like, she's just going out and saying that only Black Lives Matter. And I had to explain the context of the shirt and the movement. And then, that movement came about because of the influx in unproportional amount of deaths of black men being killed by the police through negligence or just outright shitheadery. And she's just like, well, why does that happen? That's like, oh god, this is such a
That's what we're wondering.
that's literally what I said. I was like, well, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's what that means. That's what that phrase means.
What's really kind of bad about it, especially because branding is everything. So the All Lives Matter movement brands, right?
Sure.
And what's really funny, even Kanye knew this because when he did the All Lives Matter thing, he did it while like saying super racist shit about like slavery being a choice. When him and Candace Owens wore the All Lives Matter with black people on it.
That fucking guy. Anyway.
But the All Lives Matter thing is like, Black Lives Matter is a reminder, like, hey, we need to care about these people. And the response is to just like, well, you're wrong because you're just being unfair and singling yourselves out. Just like your daughter said, but the difference is they're trying to rope in people who don't understand, like your daughter.
Right.
People who aren't exposed to that. I'm
so glad she asks me questions like this when things come up and she needs to know so that I can properly explain it so some dumb fuck doesn't do it instead.
Doesn't do it. Especially with the internet and shit.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So it goes like with All Lives Matter, it's like, well, you know what? It's it literally is Black Lives Matter in reverse, where the sentiment is wonderful, but the context behind it is literally just to
negate it. Yeah, it's just to negate.
Yeah, it's to erase like the helping people.
Yes. Yeah, it's just
and singling people out. It's fucking hilariously bad.
I get like white assholes going down that path, but how do people like Kanye and Candace Owens go down that path? Like what?
Well, one, when you're self-hating.
You think it's just hatred?
Well, parts of it, but I also feel like it's money. Sowing discourse. There's a lot of money in sowing discourse.
That's true.
Same thing with the law. There's just a lot of money in doing that.
I guess you're right.
I mean, why do the police have quota or arrest quotas?
Shouldn't be. It should be.
It just
we arrest as many people as need to be arrested, and that's it.
as needs to be arrested.
That's what
but
you think.
They need a quota for fines. They need a quota for stoppages, like stopping cars, and like they need like why? Why is there a quota?
Some of it makes not that it makes sense, but some of it I understand why there's quota. They have these ticket quotas because they factor into a budget somewhere that says we need to make this much money off of tickets. Not that that's right, but I understand it. as far as like we have to have X amount of arrests, like no, like where does that come from?
You shouldn't need to
your goal
arrest
is
people.
0 arrests,
because that means you're not protecting and serving your you're serving a business,
right? You're serving a business model. Absolutely,
you're essentially saying there is inevitable that everybody that people are going to be arrested.
I guess that just comes down to budget too, though, right? If you want to arrest 300 people because you know they have to be processed and pushed through that system that makes money off of it.
Yes.
So
and realistically, crime is always going to happen.
Sure. Absolutely.
The difference is if you're pushing people into crime or you're moving the goalpost
so that
what a crime is.
So that you can hit your quota. Yeah. Which happens. We know it happens.
Frightening. I am terrified during quota time. I try to keep an ear to the ground with that.
I don't blame you. It's usually the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
That's where they start cracking down.
Wouldn't it make more sense for people to be able to have radar detectors to know when a cop's showing up so they can slow down and be more safe on the road than to catch them?
You'd think, and it's funny that you're not allowed to have a radar detector. I guess it depends on where you are, but I believe in New York we're not allowed, right?
New York's not.
We're not allowed to have a radar detector, but we can have a Waze app that says, like, hey, there's a police officer up ahead, stopped on the side of the road, catch people speeding. Like, that's totally cool.
Yeah. Google Maps has it too. It's never accurate, but it has it.
Waze has it, and it's very accurate. It's usually very accurate. When I've used Waze, and I've only used it a handful of times, but when I've used it for long trips, it's dead on. It's like, there's a cop up ahead. Surefire, there's a cop up ahead.
Yeah, because it's more accurate. It's more feasible for somebody to be an asshole on the road than to be a criminal. So why do you feel like you need to stop them? Because honestly, you're not going to stop a criminal because usually a criminal is not going to be speeding down the road.
No,
usually.
Unless
if they're doing business.
Unless they're in a white Bronco.
Well, they were chasing him before he started driving.
That's true. Never mind.
They're like, oh, he needs to be caught. He somehow, with his bad knees, killed 2 adults.
He
didn't even surprise me.
Are you defending OJ? Defending?
Don't you
Simpson?
twist my words. I think that he had help.
Oh, really? We've never discussed this before.
I personally feel like OJ had help. I don't know how. It just doesn't make sense to me how, like, the way the deaths happened.
Conspiracy theory.
Somebody didn't get away. Yes, it's my conspiracy theory. That's why I don't share it. It's just for me.
You just did, though.
How that I know. I know. I accidentally did, and now I have to divulge.
All right.
It's just like how the murder happened. Unless those 2 people were from a horror movie and wanted to die. He didn't, like, spring up and just, surprise, and then hobble over to them. His knees were bad then. Right? His knees were bad then.
I don't know.
So how did he chase them down? And they weren't that far. Like, they weren't butt naked. Like, if they were fucking and he killed them, that'd be one. Because you might hesitate if you're butt naked and somebody gets stabbed to run outside.
I thought he killed one on the porch, like Goldman on the porch, and then killed his wife inside or something like that.
You know what? I can't say I've recently seen it.
I don't know.
I just know when I developed this conspiracy theory, I was talking to a friend about it. I was just like, it just didn't make sense how one of them didn't get away. Or they just did it.
Okay, that was a long time ago. You're
right. Or
right.
at least they weren't near the front door.
Hard to remember exactly what happened.
A failure of the system. Oh,
absolutely.
Since the lawyer was so popular.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, OJ should not have gotten away with that, but it became such a media circus. Like,
it did. Yeah, it did.
It did. And then he became a celebrity again for a little while. How the fuck did that happen?
And then they fucked him anyway. Ended up fucking him anyway.
He lived in jail for a little bit.
Rest in peace.
He lived in jail for a little bit.
Rest in peace. OJ.
Seriously?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh,
who's
shit.
defending OJ now?
Oh, I'm just kidding. What am I supposed to say?
I defended him when he was alive. You defended his everlasting soul. You fucking awful person.
What am I supposed to say? Rest in the fiery pits of hell? You know?
Don't say anything.
Oh yeah, that's always an option. I forget all the time.
You could just not say anything.
I always forget that not saying anything is an option. Always forget that.
You know what? You and my daughter both. Just never know. You can just shut the fuck up sometimes.
That seems to be a trend in my life. It's just in general, the people around me. It's just like sometimes we should just shut the fuck up. Just stop talking.
And often, like, actually, I found myself doing that again online with people with bad takes. So it's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut up.
I wish.
Just not gonna say
I
anything.
don't know why. Like, I wish I could do a social media cleanse and just literally get off social media apps altogether. And I don't know why I can't seem to make myself do it. There seems to be the only social media app that I use with regularity and actually gain anything from is Twitter, because I see news and, new game releases, new music releases, new videos that are out. Like, that's the only place I actually get anything. Everything else, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it's just bullshit. Like, it's just bullshit, meaningless crap that I'm injecting into my brain. It's Facebook is just pictures of people that I know, and they take them wherever they are, or parties they had, or things they did with their family or whatever. That's all that is. Instagram and YouTube, it's just reels of silly, stupid little bullshit 15-second content. I really don't use TikTok anymore, which we talked about.
I don't either.
But
I think YouTube, I'm like that with YouTube. I can't leave YouTube.
Twitter's nice because you can. I mean, I know they have their own following tab, or not following. They have their For You tab now that they had added.
Really?
When
they updated to For You tab.
Elon Musk came on, he added a For You tab that's essentially a feed, just an algorithm-driven feed. But they still have the following tab, which you can have a default to, which is literally just the people you follow. So you really are able to close off your Twitter space to be what you want to get out of the app to a degree. I don't know how long it's going to last with fuckface in charge. He keeps adding features. I'm sure eventually it's going to be just as bad.
Eventually you'll have to pay premium.
Maybe. But I don't know why, at the very least, I can't get Facebook, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram out of my orbit. I don't know. YouTube's not necessarily really a fully social media app. It's not. It's
I watch like long form videos and shit like that on YouTube.
Yeah, me too.
Instagram, I think I'm going to take a break from because I'm responding to a lot of people, and I'm starting to find myself angry.
How does that work? Do you delete the app, or do you just?
I deactivated Facebook. I only keep the Messenger part because usually, if my wife can't get me through like texting, because
didn't you reactivate it by accident recently though?
Yes, I download random games. I like playing like new games and stuff like that.
And it reactivated it?
And a game that I played a long time ago, I was like, man, I wonder if they updated. And I can't remember what the game was now, so you can tell that I probably did not keep it.
Right.
But I was just like, oh, it was attached to my Facebook account. So I hit re-log in.
Got it. And it automatically
logged
reactivates
my Facebook back in.
Yep.
Didn't tell me that it logged me back in. And I found out a few days later. I was like, I should deactivate that. Then I forgot again. Because again, I don't use it, so nothing. And then all of a sudden, my wife is looking at me. She goes, "Did you reactivate your Facebook?" Oh shit! Yeah, I did.
Did you deactivate it again?
I just deactivated.
You know what?
Again.
I think I'm going to deactivate mine again as well.
I did because you get to keep Messenger. You can still use Messenger,
which is the only thing I really
use
care
that
about
with the kids and like my wife, and I don't even think I talked to my dad, and like my old army buddy. That's the only people I talk to on Messenger now. But
I think that should be our goal.
I don't use Facebook.
That should be our goal for next week. We should both have Instagram deactivated, and me Facebook too. I did it about a long time ago. I did it because I had it deactivated until I needed it for I had gotten a new job where I had to manage Facebook pages, and I had to reactivate it to be able to manage those pages. I believe now you can manage business pages without having an active personal account, so I'll have to figure it out because I do still have pages I have to have access to, but we'll see. But I'm going to try to do that. I don't know if I'm just going to delete the Instagram app, because then I'm going to have an OCD issue, because I'm going to have a missing icon in my app drawer and it's not going to be full. And then I got to find something to replace it. I literally can't have...
it just aesthetically, it drives me crazy.
I have to have every row full. I can't have a row with like 3 apps instead of 4 apps in it. It's got to be all.
You know what? I understand. I absolutely
it drives me crazy. So I gotta find a replace. It can be a bullshit app. I can install like Mastodon and not use it.
Yeah,
it'd be something stupid like that. But anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about. criminal justice.
Well, we weren't supposed to be talking about the criminal justice system.
We did. We did.
No, we didn't.
We've talked about it. Well, here's the thing.
Acknowledged it.
We've talked about it so much in the past. Yeah, we've talked about it so much in the past. We just got it out of the way as a topic so that we could talk about.
I will say this though.
Poopy head.
I feel that the system does really stupid shit. There's scenarios where a child is in danger, not because of the parents, but maybe because there's an emotional disorder, and this is pushes with like these systems altogether. The police will come to your house. They'll threaten to take your kids away, but they'll offer no solutions whatsoever because
they're not
maybe
meant
your child's too young to, seek help or get the help that they need.
Yeah, because
it's not in the system. It's not in the area in which you're in, and for some reason, we're all okay with that. And we'll ignore those problems. And then there's a family that's torn apart because the police took the child away.
Well, there's that and the inability to deal with mental illness in general. It's just a complete failure on every aspect. It's just so many issues. We could go through for 3 days and talk about all the issues and still not be done.
I feel like we need to talk about people who fake mental illnesses, by the way. That is a popular thing online.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to add it to the list. Let's see.
So,
doing this live as we talk.
Again, having, my wife work with people who, with families that have issues, that have trouble, it is the amount of disgusting situations that happen. And then we watch TV, and then I turn around, and my wife is crying because of a scenario that happened on a show is extremely similar to something she dealt with.
Right.
Is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting that we're so flippant about it. And we live under a system, and we're okay with a system that doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. I don't see anybody making any efforts to change it. I don't see anybody really talking about it enough or doing anything but talking about it, no actions being taken. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I guess that's the podcast for this week. You can
downer ending.
It's nothing better than when you're left with a bleak and disappointing and despair at the end of a podcast. No, fuck that. Go to our website.
ATIWIHY.com.
Like, there's fun stuff to do there, like buying a t-shirt or sending us a message. That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, you could send a message.
You could buy a t-shirt that says Hail Satan,
people love hailing Satan.
I love hailing
That's
Satan.
Like super popular.
You can send us a message and say like, hey, here's how I feel about this. You guys didn't talk enough about the criminal justice system. It's a very large topic, and you only spent 25 minutes on it. You bitches
stay on topic or don't talk about it.
Yeah, either keep on topic or just don't have one for the week. Remember the one time we did the catch-up episode? We didn't have a topic for a week. That was early. We just did like the catching up.
I've been trying to push to stop having topics.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. Well, no, I'm sorry. To push an episode where we don't have a topic, I have pushed for it twice.
Oh, so then let's start doing that.
Oh no, we should do a topic.
I'm okay with that.
Like, oh, okay.
I'm okay with once in a while not having a topic and just calling it like, the catch up episode part 2, catch up episode part 3.
I said that.
I wasn't listening,
and you were like, "We need to have a topic."
All right, well, it's my OCD. I'm going to blame it on my mental illness. All right, peace out. Oh, boy. That was fun. No, seriously, though, I'm okay with that. I don't think that's a bad idea.
It's less pressure,
Yeah,
especially if we didn't have anything.
I don't like being pigeonholed sometimes into trying to stick to a topic, especially when it's, I don't know, maybe not the strongest topic.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
All right. Peace.
Later.